Welcome back, guys. This is our second live session. In this session, we'll be talking about the remaining basic concept and the things which are related to create the database and all other stuff. So, just want to recap a few things. Yesterday, we talk about the SQL Server, relational database management system, right? Okay, let's start from the just a revision perspective. Yesterday, we talk about data, then we talk about the database, then we talk about DBMS management system, right? And after that we talk about the different kind of database management system. So what are the different kind of data management systems we have, like RDBMS, relational database management system, right? Next we talk about the NoSQL relational database management system. Then there was the hierarchical database management system. Next we talk about the network database management system. So the first of all, the thing which we discussed, it was why do we need to have this kind of different database management system. First of all, so based on the data, there was a need to define the different kind of database management system. We also talk about the NoSQL, where we have a data which is in a different format other than the numbers, other than the sales. Like if you have the structured data, for example images, PDF file, document, so those data are in a bugging format. So that kind of data require a special kind of the management system where we can we can save the data. So based on that data, the different kind of management system required. And after that we talk about the relational database management system. Why do we need to know about? Because we are going to talk about only relational database management system, where different tables are there and all those tables are linked to each other through one to one or one to many relationship, right? So in the RDBMS we talk about the two different product what we have in the market. The first was by the Oracle, and they named it as the Oracle itself. And then second is the Microsoft SQL Server, which is the product from the Microsoft, right? Likewise, there are different relational database software we have. And now we are going to talk about only SQL Server. That's a Microsoft SQL Server, right? Then we talk about how to create database, and I have shown you how to create database. So there were two ways actually. I discussed the first way was from the GUI. The GUI in the sense graphical user interface. From the GUI itself, you can create database. Then second way, I have shown you how we can create database from the SQL command. And if you remember, we have created two database here: the database one and database two. The database one was being created by the GUI way, and the database 2 was created through the SQL queries, right? And one thing we have noticed that for creating the database 1 we have mentioned the location of file, name of file, and all other things which requires to know to have it. But for database 2 we haven't mentioned anything. We have only given the command just to create a database, and based on those commands the database was created, right? So what we have learned from there, we learned that if we'll pass the properties, then it will accept those properties. If we won't pass the properties, then it will take the system define configuration, and based on that it will create the database file. Just to recap, go to any database and just do a right click on it. When you do right click and go to the properties, you will see a pop-up. In the pop-up section we'll see a different things. Just want to show you, like what is the name of a file and where are those files are located physically. Because we do store a data, and those data stored permanently means those data get stored on a physical location, right? Location in the sense it will be stored on the drive itself. So there are two files, MDF, then LDF we talk about. Then if this is our requirement doesn't fit in this two file, then if we want to add a secondary file, then we can go for the secondary file itself, and the extension for that file would be the .ndf. .ndf file will represent the secondary file. Then we talk about the file group. File group is something which which groups the file it, right? We can also create the different file groups. I will show you when we'll need it, but for time being, just to have idea, file group is just a collection of file. We can group the multi-file groups in a file. When we'll talk about the table partition, that time it is very useful. Great. So this is just recap what we have learned from the last session. Now let's go back and let's talk about the database part again. Just go to the any database. In the database you will see few objects here, like you are seeing here the tables, you are seeing here views, synonyms, programmability, service broker, storage, security. So in a database we can perform this kind of activity. If you want to create a table, just go here and right click here and do some operation and create a table. If you want to create a view, then come here and right click here and create a view. Then programmability, in the programmability section we have a different object. The first object is the store procedure, then function, triggers. If you want to create the user defined types, we can create it here itself, sequences, right? Then for security purpose, if you want to create some users for this database only, you can create it, schemas and all those things. Great. So I will talk all those things one by one, but for time being I'm going to show you how to create a table, because it's very important to know how to create a table just for understanding perspective. First I will show you how to create a table, then we'll talk about the SQL part, because for performing the SQL activity we need a table. Just to make you familiar and just to have confidence, I'm going to show you how to create a table here first. So just go to the database section and do a right click on a tables. Then it will ask you new table. Then click on a new table. Then this window will come. In the window section you will see three things. The first thing would be the column name, second thing would be the data type, and third thing would be the allow nulls or not null. So here you need to specify the name for column. So I'm specifying name for the column is emp id. Then data type would be the numeric for this column. So here you need to specify the data type. So there are a multiple data type, we'll talk about all these things, don't worry, but just to show you and just to make you familiar, I will show you here, right? So I'm going to create a table and which will have the empid. Then I'm going to add one more column, do one thing here, go to the next, then emp name. Then the data type for this would be the varchar. Don't worry about the data type, we'll talk about everything in detail in coming session. So here just I'm giving varchar to, okay, clear. Then come here and right click on it and save it. When you click on a save table, it will ask you the name for the table, then just give the name for the table. I'm giving the name for the table as employee. So I'm going to click on OK. When I'm going to click on OK, the table would be created in a system. So you may have a question, how can I verify it? Just close it here and go to the tables section. If you come here to the tables, you will see there is no table which is listed here. So what you need to do is you need to go on a table and you need to go to the refresh. When at the moment when you will click on a refresh, you will see the newly table created, right? This table would appear now. So come here and do a right click on a table. Then if you want to see the data, just click on a select top 100 rows. I just want to make you familiar with the table, so don't worry about the structure and everything. We'll discuss everything, each and everything in detail. So now you will see here there is no data because we have only created table, we have not loaded any data in it, right? Great. So what we have to do here, for performing some insert, update, delete, we just need to right click on a table, then go to the edit top 200 rows. So this window would appear with this window would appear here like this. Great. Here you need to give a value, so I'm giving as employee ID equal to 1, then employee name equal to Srikanth, then employee ID equals 2, name I'm giving as a Bhushan. So what I had did here, I have created two employee IDs here and given the name. So you need to come back here, you need to right click on it, you need to click on execute SQL. If everything looks good, then the query will be executed successfully, otherwise it will show you an error. So now this query has been executed successfully, so there is no need to worry. So what I need to do now, I need to come back here, I need to right click on a employee table, then click on a select top 100 rows, 1000 rows. So when you will click it here, you will see there are two rows which we have just created, right? So these are the employee ID. The one is Shrikant, second is Bhushan. So these two employee are being stored in the employee table. Great. Now next thing is how to delete the data from a existing table. Do one thing again, just come back here, click on a right click on it and then edit top 200 rows. So you will see here there are two records. So what do you need to do for deletion purpose? Just select the row, right click on it and select the delete option. The moment you will click on a delete, you will see one pop-up and that pop-up will show like you are about to delete how many rows? One row. And click S to permanently delete the row. If yes, then all the data would be deleted. If no, it will be rolled back. Then I'm clicking on a S. What does it mean? It means that I deleted the second row, right? So what I'm expecting now, I would only see a single row there. So right click on that and go to and select the execute SQL. Then let's verify really there are only one row or two row, or that row has been deleted or not. Right click on the employee, go to the select of 1000 rows and select it. When you click on a select 1000 rows, you will see there is only a single row. This is a single employee ID in a table. Great. What does it mean? It means that the operation which we have performed just now has been performed successfully. The row which I deleted has been deleted from my table. Great. Now you may have a question that how can I do update? So it's very simple. Again, just go back to the employee table, right click on it and again go to the edit top 200 rows. Here you will see there is an employee ID 1. Now I'm changing this employee name Shrikant to Bhushan. And do one thing, see here it is giving me error, but the error is corrected. Okay, great. Then what you need to do, you need to come back here, you need to right click on this, you need to click on execute SQL. The moment you will click on execute SQL, if everything is correct, all is good, then there would be no error. If something is wrong, then pop-up will ask you and will show you that there is a problem in your query, so please correct your data. So right now we are not getting any error, so it means that there is no problem. We have executed it, right? Then we'll do what? We'll close it and then we'll come back again and we'll right click on employee table and then we'll click on a select of 1000 rows. When we click on a select of 1000 rows, we'll see there is a single record. Previously there was a record with a one ID and the name of the employee was Srikant. Now the employee name has been changed. The change value is Bhushan, which I change it right now. Great. So this is just a sample illustration that how the table is table we can have and what are the thing table can have, and then how we can do an insert operation, how we can do a delete operation, and how we can do the update operation. All these things are easy because we have done this thing from the GUI way. But in real time, if you join any company or if you work on any big project, every time you can't go and you can't do everything from the GUI. This is just for the basic purpose that if you know this thing, it means that you can create a table or you can work with the SQL Server. But knowing the GUI way doesn't mean that you will be become a good developer, because this is just a simple idea, right? For becoming a good developer or becoming a good SQL developer, you need to know the SQL first. So for knowing the SQL you need to learn it, right? No problem. If you guys have it knowledge, if you guys have the knowledge about it, then that's good. If you don't have, then still don't, there is no problem. I will start from the scratch so that you guys won't face any problem. We'll cover everything. We'll cover the basic to expert, all those part. We'll cover the variable, we'll cover the joins, we'll cover the store procedure views, then we'll also try to complete the execution plan, waiting time, then statistics and all those parts, right? Great. Let's start for the SQL. Let us understand first what does SQL Server have. There are two things for working with a SQL Server we should know. The first thing is SQL, and second thing is TSQL. Most of you guys might be familiar with the Oracle because that is the subject which we study in our academics. So you guys might have heard about it, Oracle. In the Oracle, there are two things. The first thing is a SQL. There is also SQL, and second part is a PLSQL. PLSQL stands for Programmable SQL. So you guys know SQL. If you guys know, that is good. But if you know SQL, that SQL is will be used in a series of a line of a statement, and that we call as a PLSQL. Same thing Microsoft has implemented in a SQL Server and named it as a TSQL. So in a TSQL, you will see the SQL itself, but the number of line of codes. If you just want to write a simple basic code, then you can go for a queries. But if you want to perform some big operations, some business logic you need to write. So for writing the business logic, you can't go with the queries. You need to combine all those query in a specific container, and you need to perform this operation. Normally, we call that container is a store procedure. So basically store procedure is something where we have a multiple queries, and we can write our own logic, we can do a business operation there itself. Okay, so for understanding the SQL Server, there are two things we guys should know. The first part is SQL and second part is TSQL. So what does it mean? If it means that if we know SQL properly, then it won't be difficult for us to know the TSQL, because on the top of SQL there is a TSQL. So for learning a TSQL, you should know the SQL. In the SQL, we'll be talking about the few commands. So basically, there are 5 commands in a SQL. The first command is a DML. Second command is DQL. Third command is a DCL. Fourth is DDL. Right. So in a DML, you know, uh, when we do the operation on a table, when we do operation on a table, we work with the insert, we work with the update, we work with the delete, right? So if we are working with the insert, update or delete, we work with basically this command. So these three command come into the DML section. Next command is DQL. DQL means data query language. So in a data query, we'll only have a single command, which is a select. So in a select, we need to pass the name of a column, and whatever the data we need, we just need to pass the name of column. So select command come under to the DQL, data query language. Then is DCL. DCL stands for data control language. Data control language. There are a few commands like granting access, then revoking access, like this. So permission related stuff come into the DCL. Next is DDL. DDL stand for data definition language. So data definition language means what? For example, if you are creating a table, if you are creating a table, then we need to create a table, right? We need to drop it, and we need to alter the table. So if we are working with this operation like create, then delete, sorry, create, drop, and alter, this three command come under the DDL. So DDL command is very important. So we cover DDL, DML, DCL, then transact query, right? Last is TCL. Great. So what does it mean if if we knew this command like DML, DQL, DCL, DDL, TCL, transact query language, right? So if we know this, all those things, it means that we can easily learn the SQL. So for learning SQL we need to know this command. Along with that we also need to understand some TSQL concepts like variables, then joins, and all those things for becoming a good developer. So just want to tell you that if you know DML, if you know DQL, if you know DCL, if you know DDL, if you know TCL, it means that you are a good, you are good in SQL. Great. Now first of all we'll be starting about with a DDL command. With this, the first command we'll be talking about here, DDL. So DDL stand for data definition language. So data definition language states that it will define the definition for a object. So if we want to create the table, it defines the definition. If we want to drop the table, it defines the structure of a object, right? Let's talk about how to create a table. So in short, if you can assume that if there is a command like alter, drop, or truncate, then create, which touch the structure of a object or which alter the structure of object are the DDL commands. Okay, the first example we can say creating a table. For example, creating a table. Great. Next is dropping table. We can drop table. We can alter table just to change the columns, data type or column name. Then alter, drop, truncate. We can remove all data from the tables. So we can perform all these operations with the table. So these are all the DDL command. For example, if you want to create the view, then you need to use a create command. So that is again the DDL operation. Okay. Now once the table has been created, you need to insert the data in it, right? So for example, we have just created a table in a step one, and that table need to be loaded with a few values. So how we can do that? For doing that, what we need to do, we need to use the insert command. For insert command we need to have its syntax, obviously. So we'll use insert command to load the data. Then next is delete. Once we have loaded the data, and if we feel data is not correct, then we can do the delete operation there. So we need to know the syntax for the delete command. Next, if we are having the value and we think the value is incorrect, so we need to update the value. So we need to know the update command syntax. I will talk one by one, right? So these are the some DML important commands which we need to know. Next is DQL. DQL is something which is select command. For example, we have a data in a table, and out of and we have a lot of columns in it. For example, we have 10 columns in a table, and from 10 columns if we only need a two column, then how we would do that? We only need two columns, so we'll specify those two name in a select clause. We'll get the query. Next is very important, which is a DQL. Sorry, TCL. So in a TCL, we'll the revoke. If you have given permission to the specific table, so you can revoke it. You can give grant. So different operation. Right. Hope you guys don't have any doubts so far. So like DDL, DML, DQL, and TCL. Now we'll directly move to the next section, that's creating a table. In this one, I will be showing you the practical demonstration for DDL commands, all DDL commands. That is how to create table, how to delete, how to drop a table, how to alter table, and how to truncate table. Yes. The first thing is create. We'll start with the example of creating table. So how to create a table? So you need to type like this, create a table. Then here you need to pass the table name. Then inside the bracket you need to pass the column name. Here you need to pass the data type. So data type is something which has a specific type of value. For example, if we are saying I want to store my age, so age is an integer value, so integer is a data type. So this is a syntax for creating a table. So how we can do that? Just write create a table. I am giving a name as a department is my table name. It has a first column depth id and data type is int. Like this in number of columns. Next, give column, give comma here. I'm switch my depth name varchar. Varchar is a special kind of data type. It store the varchar value. So you can see here that I'm specifying department as a table. In the department I'm specifying two column. First column is depth id, another column is depth name. Great. Then select the then select entire line. So I have selected this entire line from from query. So select entire line. So this is your SQL command for DDL command for creating a table. Then you can execute the command through two ways. The first is just go up and click on execute. Second is you can select the command and you can click on a F5. I am here going to the button and clicking on execute. I have executed. So I am seeing the message that query executed successfully. Great. Next, this is table creation. Then next command we'll talking about in DDL is a drop command. So how you can drop is something which remove the object. So for dropping the object you just need to type drop. Then if it is a table, then specify the table. Then you need to pass the name for the object. So here object name is table name. So I'm specifying table name. Here you can say drop object type, because same command is used for dropping the object like views, procedure, and functions also. So I'm dropping the table, drop table, this one. Then select it, Go here and execute. You will see command executed successfully. So this is a drop will remove this table. Second is alter. So we have dropped the table, so we don't have a table now. So copy this table query, come to the alter section and create again this table because we have dropped that table. Click on a drop, sorry, click on a create. Now the table has been created. Now I'll show, see, if you'll observe here, department ID this and department name. Now the department name size I mentioned when I created this column was 200, but now I think it should be 300. So what does it mean? It means that I want to change the data type for this. So I will do what? Alter table. This is a syntax. Then you need to specify the name for the table. Alter table department. Then you need to change the column data type. So alter column name. Then its value you need to pass. So it's a varchar 200, so I want this varchar 200 to be varchar 300. So these are a standard SQL syntax. So for altering table we have this syntax: alter table name, then alter, then column name, and it's a new data type. Then select this and click on execute. Now we have changed the data type. So how we can check here? Just come back here in a database or tables, right click on it, do on a refresh. You will see this table in the list. Now you are seeing this department. Come back here, expand it, go to the columns. Now if you'll come back and if you'll see here the, because we made it 200, now make it 300. Come back here, department, do a refresh again. So you will see here columns. Let's see the definition for the columns. Here you can see the varchar 300. So we can alter the definition of a column when the table has been created. Great. Next is truncate. Fourth is truncate. Truncate is something which remove all the data from a table. So it has a syntax like truncate. Then we need to pass the table name, right? Then we need to have like this table. This is a syntax. So just fill this syntax with the proper values. Truncate table name is department. Now you'll see this table has been deleted. Now it doesn't have any value. So what we'll do here, we'll come back here again, department, we'll do right click on it, and when we'll do right click, it will ask us to enter the value, edit top 200 rows. We'll just add some dummy values to just for the demonstration purpose, like this. Do it. Select this, click on execute SQL, close it. Now do one thing again, come on department, select top 100. You will see here three values there. Now what are we are going to do, we are truncating this table. Select this table and click on execute. Now you'll see command executed successfully. If you'll come back here and if you'll run this query again, you will see there is no record because we have removed all the rows. Great. Next thing we'll talking about the dql command, data query language. Data query language, or there is only a single command in this category. The command is only select. Select is something, is a kind of a clause or command where we need to pass the name of columns or from the table, right? So what is its syntax? Actually syntax is like this: select, then here the column 1, then column 2, so on. So if you write the select query, then you just need to give the name of a column. So just try to understand syntax first. So I do have the table. The table is, I do have a table. The table is department. So from department table, I want to see data for only one column. Let's see how many columns are there first of all. So for seeing all the data from the column, you need to use the select clause. So if you specify the star, it means that all the column listed in the department will be shown here. So if I click on execute, I won't see any data here, but I will see the record. So what we'll do here, we'll click on a department, we'll click on a edit of 200 rows, we'll add some data in it. Let's say department number is something 2 something and 3. So I am adding 3 department there. Okay, only 2 because there were some issues. 3 something, yes. So click on execute again. Now we have a data in it. So come back here, you want to see the all data from department. So what you need will specify here, star means all columns, star means all column. Just keep in mind, star means all column, then execute. So you will see here there are only 3 records, right? Great. Now my requirement is I want to see only a single first column. So how would I do that? Just specify the name of a column from the table. My column is depth id. I don't want to see the depth name. I only want to see the depth id. So select the command and click on F5 or execute. So when you will do that, you will see here 3 values are there, but I'm not seeing here the department name, but I'm only seeing the department id. Why? Because I am specifying explicitly that I want to see on the department id. I don't want to see the department name. Let's say if you want to see the department name also, what will you do? You just need to simply pass the name of a column. So name of a column for this is depth name. Depth name. And if I select this query, entire query, and execute, what will I see? I will see execute SQL. I will see both columns here. So far I think you guys don't have any doubt related with the select. So select is very simple. If you want to see all column, just simply write here star means all column. There is no more hidden sign. Star means all column. And if you want to see a specific column, just mention the name of a specific column. You will see everything here. Okay. Now next thing we'll be doing here, we'll be talking about DML. Sorry, delete. So delete is something to delete the data from a query. We have we have seen how to delete the row from the GUI way, but now we want to delete the data from the query, SQL query. So first of all, we need to understand the syntax. Syntax is first we need to type the delete, then the table, then from table name, then here there is a concept called as some short name for the table called we call it alias. This alias need to be here instead of table. Then if you have a condition, then you need to type condition in a where clause. Where clause is used for condition, we'll talk about it, but just to show you the basic idea related to delete, just remember there is a command called as a where, which we need to use for deleting the data. Great. Here you can specify the condition. Okay, let's fill the value in this delete. Then from my table is department, I'm giving alias as a short name as A, so this A should be placed here. Next is where, and I want to delete the row where depth ID is equal to 3. This is my condition, this is my table, and this is the syntax. So come here and execute it. I'm seeing only one record deleted. So if you'll come here and if you'll select star from department, and if you'll run this query, you will see only two records, because we have just deleted one single record. And for example, if you want to delete all record, then copy the script and don't pass any condition. If you won't pass any condition, it will blindly delete all the records from a table. Just execute it. Now we deleted our record, and let's see how many data we have. Select star from department, all the column from department. Now let's see how many record we'll see. We won't see any record here because we have just deleted all record. But before applying any delete operation, I always recommend use a transaction. So we'll talk about that, but use delete properly. It's very dangerous while working with a real-time environment. And one important thing is here, why company pay more to database developer as compared to other technology or anything, because there is a thing called as a risk. If you perform anything without subconscious mind, if you should know what you are going to delete, or you should know what you are going to update, because missing a single condition will hamper your entire table, will hamper your entire data, and that will impact a lot of things, that will impact the business. So before applying the delete operation, think 10 times, then run it while working with a real time. So I always suggest use a transaction. We'll talk about that. Transaction is something where we'll place a checkpoint, and we'll start the checkpoint, and we'll delete the data, and when we confirm that data has been deleted, which is correct, then do a commit operation. Commit means permanently store into the database. Great. Next, the last operation in the DML part is update. Update is something where we can update the old value to the new value. So if we have a requirement that last time I updated the value which is wrong, and now I want to update the new value, right? So how we can do that? So we need to use the update. There is a syntax for the update. So you need to use the update keyword, then alias, then a set keyword, then here you need to specify the column name, here specify the new value, from which table you want to do that, then just type the table name, then table alias. And if you want to update a specific data, then just type a condition here. But for time being, we don't have the data, so we'll right click on it, edit top 100, just add some dummy data, 1, then 2. Great. Select execute SQL, close it. Okay, now we'll fill the value in the syntax. So how will do that? Update, then from table is department, then I'm going alias as A, then alias as A, say which column, dip name, new value should be Shrikant. Great. And if we have condition, yes, condition we have, and depth ID equal to 1. Okay, great. So just come here and select the query and run it. query exists successfully. Just come back and run the select query. You will see the old value has been changed to Shrikant. Correct. So this is update. And again same thing. If you remember that I specified, I said condition is very important here. Instead of adding the condition, if you update this query only without condition, then what will happen? Then you will see here the all data has been updated with a name. For example, you have 1 billion rows, and if you miss a single condition there, so all data would be updated with a new value. So entire old data would be gone. So always use a transaction for update also. That is well recommended. Great. Next is a insert part we'll talk about in our next section, because it is very important, and which has a lot of things to discuss. So I'll be talking the insert part in tomorrow session or the next session. Hope you guys like and enjoyed our live session regarding with the SQL Server. And if you guys like it, please don't forget to like and comment below to the video section. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.